We're going to do two things this evening. We're going to do the exam guidance revision part of it, and then at the end I'm going to get you to do some feedback sheets. So I'm going to hand the feedback sheets out now. Please don't start filling them in until the end. It's important you listen to the exam guidance. It will help you, I guarantee it. Okay, so I'm going to hand these out. If you just pass them along, please pay attention. There'll be plenty of time to actually fill these in, ask questions at the end. Yesterday? Yeah. Yes, you do, I'm afraid, because the one that you did yesterday should have been just for Justin, the one that you do today should be just for me. Can you not explain that? Whenever you have double lecturers on any course, you should fill out one specific one for each lecturer. That way, if you think I'm lousy, you can say so. But Justin's brilliant, you can say so. At least that's the way it's going. Okay, so the main reason we're here tonight is to talk about the exam, to give you an insight into what the exam entails, to give you an insight into the levels of performance that we normally have on the exams. The results from 2009 are pretty representative of every year that has sat 2061 since. Okay, that year there were 262 students, there was slightly less than that this year, and that was the mean grade, 57.5, so in other words a 58. So the mean grade that year was a 2-2. In general, 10% of the people on the course will get a third. About a third will get a 2-2. Roughly 50% will come out with a 2-1. 10% will achieve a first, and between 5 and 10% of you will fail. We have never had a year where there has been less than 10%, less than 5%. The exam format, it is usually a morning, but hasn't always been a morning. It's usually a 9 o'clock start. It is spread across many locations on the campus. Some of you with special educational needs, some of you with access needs, because of the large number of people within the group, it can't be held in one location. I think the biggest number of people we've had spread across was 6 locations one year they had you split up into. Please make sure you know exactly when and where you are sitting the exam. The format is that the paper has 8 questions. You have to answer 3. Every single question carries the same weighting. My advice is that you should spend about 45 minutes on each of the 3 questions. That gives you time at the start of the exam to read all the paper, to think about it, to understand it, to write your answers, and then to go back and change minor points if you need to. Be very, very careful with your time management. It is the single largest reason people fail. It's got nothing to do with them not knowing about the topics, in fact quite the reverse. For the last few years, the saddest part has been looking at someone who has written a brilliant answer to 2 questions and then managed to write 5 lines for the last question. 5 lines equates to 0. Even if you're scoring 80s on 2 questions, by the time you divide it by 3, you have failed. Please be careful with your time. Make sure you have something with you that you can judge time with, a watch or something else. Not your phone, because you won't be allowed to have your phone on. The way I start exams of this nature when I used to do them, and I would advise you to do the same, you have 8 questions in front of you. Read them all. Read them all again. Find the question that you know the least about and put a line through it. Find the question you know the most about and put an A or 1 or something else next to it. Then find the next question you know the least about and put a line through it. Find the question you know the next most about and put a 2 or a B next to it. By the time you've done that, you now get to choose 1 question out of the remaining 4. Make a list of the top 2. So you have a part 3, part 1 and 3, part 2 question. Ignore the others. Start your first answer on the front sheet of an exam book. Write for 45 minutes. Stop. Turn over a page and leave a blank page. Or get a new exam book. Write your second answer for 45 minutes. Stop. Leave a blank page or get a new exam book. Write your third answer. Once you've written 45 minutes on your third answer, then and only then you go back and start adding extra information into any of the other answers that you can think of. If you are running out of time, use bullet points. If you are running out of time, use diagrams. If you haven't got enough time to write a complete answer, put a plan at the start of it. You will get credit for the points in the plan. You won't get credit before you've written 5 lines. Please ensure that your answers are a direct response to the question, not just a rambling waffle around the topic area. There is no such thing as a good answer that's 20 pages. And yes, I have had exam books where people have written 20 pages of complete and utter waffle on a topic and scored 5 points. Be direct, be precise. Answer the topic first and then expand on it if you have the knowledge and ability to do so. The people who get high marks on this course don't write 3 perfect answers. They give 3 answers that have a good level of detail, that have a good level of academic theory and references, that have a good level of real-world corporate examples, and directly answer the question set. You need to practice. The exam papers for previous years are available. There is no change to the format this year, so all previous papers that you can get your hands on are valid. Please do not come and ask myself or Justin to look at example answers that you've developed. The School of Management does not allow us to comment on students' attempts at previous exams. If you come and see us during our office hours, we can talk about the general approach, we can talk about the things that need to be in an answer. We cannot take an answer from you and edit it and mark it. In contrast to those that did well, those that did poorly gave incomplete answers. Answered one or two questions in depth, but then failed to give any meaningful answer to the second or third question. Failed to give any examples or any references whatsoever. Lastly, didn't answer the question. There is a tendency to brain dump and write everything you know about a topic. That's not a good way to actually pass the exam, but I recognise that sometimes panic does set in, and that's where you can quite manage. There is some merit in if you can't think of anything else, write as much as possible and you might just pick up a few marks. If you've got decent answers to a couple of questions, that is a reasonable approach to the third question. The questions in the exam take several formats. It can be a direct question or a set of nested direct questions. For instance, explain why or how. It can be an evaluation of a quote, so you'll be given a quote and you're asked to evaluate it. That is a critical evaluation. It could be asking you to compare and contrast various elements. It could be asking you to outline something, to consider a set of circumstances, to discuss your opinion about something, or to put forward how you would do something.